Hello everyone. Today, the 22nd of June 2022, we are taking the third lesson in week 2 of module 3, the very last lesson for this week. And our title is Effective Feedback to Students. I am Gloria Neto, your facilitator. It's a very short class and it promises to be an interesting one. Let's start. Yes, the intended learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain the importance of effective feedback to students. Explain at least 5 constituents of effective feedback. Describe 4 strategies to implement effective feedback to students. So, what is effective feedback? Effective feedback requires that a person has a goal, takes action to achieve the goal, and receives goal-oriented information about his or her actions. This was the take of Grant Wiggin in 2017. So we must try to reflect on this definition from time to time, so that we can really understand how to give our students effective feedback. Why is effective feedback important? It helps the students spend their time mastering aspects that they need to focus on more than practicing what they already know. So it makes them focus. Make a plan, follow it strictly. Works as a map to guide students by letting them know where they are now and what to work on in order to get to their goal. So a map, that is a direction now to follow. It's almost like the first one, focus, direction, so that they know where they are now and where they need to be, maybe in the next 1 week, in the next 2 weeks. This feedback gives that map to them to follow. And then also correct misconceptions that they did not even realize they had. Sometimes people are getting it wrong and they don't even appreciate it. But with feedback that is good, proper feedback, if an effective one, you'll be able to know where you are missing it. What constitutes effective feedback? These are the ingredients of effective feedback we are trying to look at here. 1, effective feedback must be specific, timely, meaningful, and candid. Specific, that is a particular thing you want to achieve at a point in time. Timely, the right time. As soon as you observe it that it's wrong, you come in, you don't postpone it, so that harm will not be done. Meaningful and candid. That is direct to the point, it's meaningful, it makes sense to the person and for you who is giving it. And candid. 2, effective feedback is goal-oriented. Of course, the definition of effective feedback already mentioned goal-oriented action. So it has to be goal-oriented for it to make sense, for it to be meaningful. Effective feedback focuses on the future. Because you are correcting something has gone wrong, you are not preventing it for the future. So it focuses on the future. You don't dwell much on what has passed, as much as what must not happen again. Effective feedback is about the process, not the person. That is, you try to look at it objectively. What is wrong and where is the thing wrong? Not about the person. It is A or B that did it. No. What was done wrong? How do we correct it? Effective feedback isn't afraid to be negative. If you are giving students feedback, or even if students have cause to give you feedback, don't be afraid that they are bringing anything negative. Or you should not say, oh, it's negative, the student will not like me again. No, it is for the good of the students. So we are not afraid. We are also going to sometimes have positive feedback, and that is also okay. So effective feedback can be positive. And also, the seventh one is telling us we must not assume we are right. So we must be humble even in giving feedback. Because what we even think we are saying that is right, the person we are telling may have a superior argument. So we must not assume we are right. We may be able, so that we can listen to make proper corrections. Communicates progress. We tell the student, you are here now. You are aiming to be in D, you are in A. So how do you move forward? This is the mapping, like we said before. This is what to follow because this is the progress. You are at B and you are going to D. So you need to work harder. You need to do this and do that to get there at this point in time. So we have to communicate progress in our feedback so that we encourage the person to make more effort. Opportunity to practice. Simply giving targeted feedback will not be effective if students are not also given the chance to practice and put this feedback into place. So we must make a feedback quite all right, give a feedback quite all right, but we must allow the students to be able to put it into practice, what we have said, so that we know whether they really get us and they are able to cope with our direction, with our suggestions. Now, what strategies do we have to implement feedback in the classroom? What are the things we can use in the classroom to give feedback? Number one here, we say look for common errors among the class and address them to the class as a whole. We have a class, we cannot be saying one by one we are calling them, except the class is not it's not a big class, except at least when you have up to 20-30 people. Just look at what looks like common errors and then you correct them. Even the ones that didn't make the errors will not be confident too that what they did was okay, and the ones that made the errors, all of them will be able to appreciate and ask questions collectively. It's also good, though that is not ruling the fact that you cannot have one-on-one discussion with your students, no, but it is for it not to be too cumbersome for the teacher. You also prioritize feedback to avoid overwhelming the students. Prioritizing feedback, it would be one that should be first. You make sure it's first. The last one should be last. For example, you cannot go and be correcting the last step when the first step has not been corrected. If it's something that is procedural, this is number one, number two. So you take them systematically. So you have to prioritize so that it will be able to flow and the person will be able to follow properly and get to the final destination in good time. Then we have number 3 here, which says real-time feedback through polls can allow you to check in with the class or a large group. We are used to polling our polls from time to time here, even in this pebble lesson, you have polls to air your views. And from time to time they put up polls, and so you collectively see how many percentage of these people are in this category, that category. That's a feedback, so that you know. And you people have answered so many here that has helped us to improve on our service delivery. Create opportunities for students to reflect on feedback. For example, you may ask students to write a few sentences about how they used the comments they received. Now, this is almost like what we had on slide 8, that you give them opportunity to practice. It's the same, almost the same with this. I say create opportunities for students to reflect on feedback, because if they reflect, that's when they can practice. So to say, they will reflect on it and see where are we getting it, where are we going wrong. Give them time to put whatever they have learned from you into practice, to conceive it, to practice it, to ponder on it, so that they can be able to put it to practice. For further reading, I have this link here for you, which I found very useful, and I am sure you will also find it useful. In conclusion, providing frequent and ongoing feedback is a significant means of improving achievement in learning. Effective feedback assists the learner to reflect on their learning and their learning strategies so they can make adjustments to make better progress in their learning. Thank you, and see you in class on Thursday at 4 p.m. for our real-time facilitation. Thank you.